Historic wildfires in Washington state.
Destruction all the way down the street.
Flames ripping through neighborhoods in Spokane, leaving a trail of destruction.
Not knowing if we were going to come back to a home.
And forcing tens of thousands of families to evacuate.
It's clearly our worst natural disaster in our history.
Hello, and thank you for joining us. I'm Christine Pay. That destruction from the fires in Spokane has been described as a war zone. The flames have destroyed hundreds of buildings so far, most of them homes, and have burned through thousands of acres. About 65,000 people within Spokane city limits have been evacuated. Officials say it could be days or even weeks before people can return home.
Behind every one of those burned homes is a family trying to rebuild their lives. Behind every one of those dramatic images we see is a young, exhausted firefighter who's risking everything to keep people safe.
The Spokane Complex fires are the #1 firefighting priority in the country right now. They're made up of 3 fires that sparked on August 1st and exploded in size. The Autumn Lane fire has now become the largest of the 3. To the south is the Old Trails fire, and to the east is the Fairview fire. Some of the most widespread damage is in the area of the Old Trails fire. Reagan Gallo walks us through it.
Now, right here, I am at a cul-de-sac. I just want to show you kind of just the impacts here. This house behind me, I'm going to step away for a second, completely gone in this cul-de-sac. There are about 4 homes in this cul-de-sac. This one, total loss. You just go a little bit to their neighbor's house just to show the sporadicness of the flames still standing. Look at that right there, that blue home completely untouched. And then if we can get the camera to move just a little bit, then you can see the 2 other neighbors in this cul-de-sac also completely gone. And those there's a little bit of smoke coming from this one home that I'm looking at right in front of me as well. So obviously still a little bit active here, just to show that impact of our communities who are dealing with losing their homes, many cherished items, memories, while others just barely escaped the flames.
Investigators believe the Old Trails fire may have been intentionally set. Authorities arrested 37-year-old Aaron Fairnacci on Monday on a first-degree arson charge. He is right now being held on a $1 million bond. The Spokane County Sheriff's Office says on Saturday, witnesses reported seeing him bending down near grass where the fire started and that he looked nervous. A short time later, they saw smoke coming from the area. Deputies found a lighter and waterproof matches on him. Court records show he has denied setting that fire. This right here is a mugshot of him from Arizona, where 14 years ago he was convicted of manslaughter and aggravated assault after killing his father. That arrest is heartbreaking for the people living through the devastation from that fire. Sebastian Robertson has more.
Oh my God.
The Spokane community devastated to learn a man is behind bars, suspected of intentionally sparking what would become the Old Trails fire.
What's the punishment? What could the punishment be? I'm a Christian, and I can't imagine what goes through a person's mind.
Investigators have arrested this 37-year-old man, Aaron Fairnacci, on suspicion of first-degree arson. This is a mugshot of the suspect from a previous conviction for manslaughter in Arizona. The suspect was initially detained the day the fire started, but released before investigators later developed enough evidence to make a second arrest, according to the Spokane County Sheriff's Office.
My family barely got out of this alive. Like, we literally left right before we even got the evacuation notice.
Emotions are raw as thousands have been evacuated. Homes in the neighborhood reduced to the foundation.
Kids are probably gonna have to go to counseling for dealing with all that with PTSD. Like, our daughter has anxiety, man, and to find out that like somebody started that, like, there's terrible. A lot of families. A teacher that I work with right behind my house lost everything that he had, including his pets, and like, to know that that all could have been avoided is heartbreaking, man.
Heartbreak as evacuation orders remain in place. Homeowners still waiting to see the damage with their own eyes.
Take a look at this. The devastation is clear in these aerial photos that show the before and after. You see house after house destroyed by the flames. And in some photos, you can see entire neighborhoods gone. Some people have slowly been allowed to return to that area and found nothing but destruction left on their property. Christian Garza spoke with a family having to find someplace else to call home.
It's so crazy, huh?
For hundreds across the inland Northwest, it's not a homecoming, it's the start of cleaning up the life they once knew.
It was minutes. It was probably 2 minutes.
Tira Atwood and her family,
exactly.
now left digging through melted children's toys, charred tree limbs, and smoldering earth as they prepare their young boys, Apollo and Atlas, to say their final goodbye to the only home they've ever known.
This is the first time they've actually been here. The first thing he said was he didn't see the house, and he was like, "Where's the house?" And so that kind of really hurt, and it was really sad to hear.
However, their home was just one of 3 on Bobby Atwood's property.
Well, I knew what the devastation was going to be because I watched it all happen.
A property she worked to build for the last 6 years, surrounded by fire and burnt to the ground in 20 minutes before her very eyes.
So 2 fires basically converged right here. Boom, 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 and it's coming up the hill. Boom, boom, boom. So, I mean, we barely got out of here, out this area. It was really scary.
But not everyone in the family made it out.
I was really hoping that I would find the other 2 dogs and be okay, or one of the neighbors had them or something, but my son and his wife met me over here pretty much at the same time, and I recognized that it was the dogs right away, and that was pretty devastating.
Now with no savings, no homeowner's insurance, and no idea where to start over, the Atwood family has no other choice but to start back at square one. Despite the overwhelming amount of grief she feels for everything that was lost, Bobby says she's grateful that all her family was able to get to safety.
We're resourceful and we made it out with our lives, and that's the most important part.
The Atwoods plan to start cleaning up here soon, but as you can see, that's not going to be a small or easy task.
The federal government has approved Washington's request for an emergency declaration. That means federal assistance will help local authorities respond to the fires. FEMA says it will coordinate relief to support firefighters and help those impacted. Help has already poured in from across the country and around the world. Fire crews from more than a dozen states and Australia have joined the fight. Washington National Guard soldiers are also helping, as these fires have already become among the most destructive Washington has ever seen. Alex McLoone has more details.
Across Spokane, police and National Guard troops are trying to keep people out of evacuation zones. People eager to know when they can go home.
We pushed, and it was made very, very clear, and I trust the folks in this room. We don't know.
State and local officials say crews are going neighborhood to neighborhood and even using satellites to bring the scope of damage into focus. An assessment that could reach about 1,100 structures damaged.
I've been to a lot of places around the world, not so good places around the world, and I can tell you today that that's a war zone.
The fires packed a punch. The damage has even surpassed destruction from the 1991 historic wildfire disaster known as Firestorm, where 114 homes burned to the ground.
We've lived here a long time and we've never seen anything to this magnitude. Firestorm in 91 was a monster.
In the coming weeks, people will look for hope. Outside one of the homes, Holly and Randy are surprised to find an angel untouched.
It's just a sign. It's a miracle.
For some.
I think that's a reminder of hope.
This is the easy part, the cleanup.
Officials are asking people to stay away while firefighters tend to hotspots like this and assess damage like this. Those same firefighters are staying at places like hotels, high school gymnasiums, and even pitching tents outside.
Coming up, we'll hear from volunteers rushing in to help families displaced by the fires. Welcome back. A Spokane family is among the hundreds who have lost their homes to the wildfires burning there right now. They will have to start that process to rebuild, and this isn't the first time flames have forced them to start over. Sydney Schofield has her story.
This is home. Heidi Weir didn't expect to be here.
No, I never thought I'd be living in a sorority house again.
It was Heidi's best option after the wind-driven Old Trails fire raced across Spokane.
Because we had no bedding, right? Yeah. You know, and so we have some sleeping bags and they dropped off some towels. You don't think about all things you don't have.
Empty for the summer, her daughter's sorority house at Eastern and Cheney will do for now.
And you just cry a little and then you take a deep breath and move on. So they'll be a lot of that.
She was driving with her husband back from a conference in Yakima when she got word fires back home had gotten out of control. Her son was still in town and rushed to their house to get their cats and any important documents he could find.
We just watched on our Ring camera till we lost internet, which was power, and then we just knew.
He grabbed a video of as much of the house as he could, too, for insurance purposes. It's something he knew to do because they've been here before, not even 2 years ago.
We had a fire in our garage that gutted our garage and half our home.
It took them time to get everything repaired and renovated. They moved back into their home in October of 2025.
Completely redone on the inside, just absolutely gorgeous. Upgraded a bunch of stuff, new kitchen, new master suite.
And now, her home that she'd already rebuilt once is gone.
I don't wish a fire on your worst enemy. It's horrible. It's a horrible feeling to just lose everything.
She knows she's not the only one. The Spokane Complex fire stealing everything from hundreds more families.
Your home is where your memories are. So we've lived there 18 years. It's where our kids grew up.
She says she almost views it as a silver lining that this isn't her first time starting over.
I knew to contact my insurance company immediately, not to wait. I knew to the process, right? I knew, okay, this is what we're going to do.
She's sharing that knowledge with everyone she can, and they are planning to rebuild. Despite it being such a dark time, they're trying to find moments of levity, even joking with the rest of their tight-knit neighborhood that no one's allowed to move away.
You make the best of it, because what else are you going to do? You can live with, oh my gosh, I shoulda, but in this moment, in this day, there's nothing that's going to go backwards. You only can go forward, so make the best of it.
The fires in Spokane County may be the worst, but they're not the only ones. More than a dozen are burning in Washington state. The Pacific Northwest is having a record wildfire season. Nearly half of the nation's active large fires are concentrated in Oregon and Washington, according to a CNN analysis. And fire season is far from over. American Red Cross volunteers are rushing in to help families displaced. Natalie Swaby has more on the push to get critical resources where they're most needed.
In Seattle,
supplies to get somebody through a couple nights.
American Red Cross workers deploy their resources to a fire zone nearly 300 miles away.
There just are so many people that need to evacuate.
With 65,000 people fleeing the flames, Spokane County scrambles to handle hundreds of homes lost and families left with nowhere to go.
So we're responding to a situation where the local resources have been pretty overwhelmed.
The fire this large, there's no community that can handle that on their own.
That's why about 400 firefighters from western Washington counties charge into the fight, including a crew of 4 from Valley Regional Fire Authority.
Since our team arrived on an engine, they are actually doing structural protection. So they're out in the neighborhoods trying to protect homes from fire.
A relentless wildfire season has already sent local firefighters racing to Colorado and Oregon.
So far this year, we've already been on 12 deployments.
This is huge. I think we're already not even halfway through the fire season.
And the work keeps ramping up.
Even if we can't solve the worst day in somebody's life, that we can be there to help them stay safe and manage the situation and know that there'll be recovery in the future.
Valley Regional Fire Authority says it staffs its home base first, and during these high-risk months, works to have extra crews ready to quickly answer the call when places like Spokane County need the help.
Information on these fires is coming in fast. We will monitor updates closely and, as always, bring you the latest. For now, I'm Christine Pay. Thanks for watching.